The message came without warning. Across the galaxy, from the smallest moon colonies to the great star empires, every screen, every communicator, every channel turned to static. Then a single voice spoke. It was calm, but it carried weight, like a mountain pressing down. We command all life. Those who kneel will survive. Those who resist will be erased. The words repeated in every tongue, on every frequency. The rulers of the galaxy had spoken, the Dominion, an ancient empire that claimed they had mastered every form of life. They had bent hundreds of worlds to their will, rewriting their laws, shaping their bodies, even controlling the very air they breathed. For centuries, no one had dared challenge them. In city towers of glass, alien leaders lowered their heads. In desert camps, tribes whispered their surrender. On ocean worlds, voices carried fear through the waves. Entire civilizations obeyed without a single shot fired. They had seen what happened to those who resisted. Planets burned, populations erased. But when the message reached Earth, something different happened. The humans gathered around their screens. Soldiers in bunkers, children in classrooms, farmers in wide, empty fields. They all heard the same ultimatum. For a long moment, silence stretched across the planet. No one spoke. No one moved. The air itself seemed to hold its breath. The Dominion waited for the answer. On most worlds, surrender was instant. On Earth, there was only silence. At the United Nations chamber, leaders sat in a circle, their faces pale under the bright lights. Some wanted to submit. Others argued to fight. The fear was real. This was no ordinary empire. The Dominion's fleets were larger than anything humans had ever built. Their weapons could tear through a planet's crust like paper. Still, the silence remained. Humanity did not bow. Out beyond the orbit of Mars, hidden satellites turned their eyes toward the stars. Deep in secret hangars, machines long thought forgotten began to hum. Engines shook off decades of dust. Old warships, sleeping in oceans and underground bunkers, stirred again. The Dominion thought humanity was small, fragile, unimportant. But humanity remembered something the Dominion had long forgotten: defiance. The first crack of tension came when a Dominion fleet entered Earth's orbit. The ships were massive, their golden hulls shining in the light of the sun. They formed a ring around the planet, a cage of fire and steel. From their flagship, a broadcast rang out again. Earth, kneel, or be destroyed. Still, the humans said nothing. In the control rooms of the Dominion, officers frowned. This silence was not normal. Normally, fear drove beings to surrender quickly. But here, the silence felt dangerous. On Earth, generals whispered to each other. Scientists worked without sleep. Engineers rebuilt weapons from old blueprints. Ordinary citizens trained with whatever they had. Humanity was not preparing to surrender. Humanity was preparing for war. But no one outside Earth knew this yet. All the galaxy saw was silence. That silence spread like a storm. On distant planets, alien slaves lifted their heads for the first time. They wondered, why are the humans not afraid? On starships hidden in the dark, rebel leaders whispered, what are the humans waiting for? The Dominion began to feel something they had not felt in centuries: uncertainty. Above Earth, the Dominion commander grew restless. His ship's sensors scanned the planet, searching for weapons, for signs of resistance. What he found was unsettling. Massive energy signatures buried deep underground. Strange transmissions moving between satellites. Old war factories that had been dead for years suddenly alive with heat and power. He realized too late. Humanity's silence was not weakness. It was a warning. Inside a hidden base carved into a mountain, a single human general stood before a vast screen showing the Dominion fleet. His voice was steady when he spoke to his soldiers. They think they command all life. They think fear will silence us. They are wrong. Humanity does not kneel. Not now, not ever. The soldiers answered with a roar that shook the walls. And in the cold vacuum of space, the Dominion fleet drifted closer, waiting for Earth's final answer. But humanity's answer would not be given in words. It would be given in fire. The world outside looked calm, almost peaceful. Children still went to school, cars still moved through crowded streets, and the sun still rose over cities and fields. But beneath the surface of Earth, something was shifting. The Dominion thought silence meant fear. In truth, silence meant preparation. In hidden tunnels beneath old mountains, ancient facilities came alive again. Doors sealed for decades opened, with a hiss, revealing vast chambers filled with dust-covered machines. Engineers in worn uniforms worked day and night, brushing off the past and bringing steel giants back to life. Some of the machines were ships, warships built in secret during forgotten wars. Others were weapons so old that even the builders no longer trusted them. Cannons designed to split asteroids, drones created for battles that never came, satellites hidden in the shadows of planets. One by one, they were activated again. The sound of hammers echoed across secret hangars. Sparks flew as welders patched old armor plates. Screens glowed with new codes as programmers rewired outdated systems. The world above lived in normal rhythm, but deep below, Earth's heartbeat grew louder. Human scientists worked with urgency. In one lab, a group of engineers studied fragments of alien technology, wreckage from earlier encounters long kept in secret vaults. They did not see ruins. They saw opportunity. Humans were quick learners. They adapted, copied, and improved. Where the Dominion saw obedience, humans saw a challenge. Across the oceans, submarines disappeared into the depths, carrying warheads no one admitted existed. In the deserts, launch silos prepared rockets under the cover of sandstorms. In orbit, satellites that had been weather tools and communication devices unfolded hidden panels, revealing weapons waiting in silence. Even ordinary people felt the shift. In villages, farmers turned their tools into weapons. In cities, workers formed militias, training in empty warehouses. Children whispered stories of the Dominion's power, but in their eyes burned a strange fire, the fire of a species that refused to bow. The Dominion's fleet above Earth watched carefully. Their ships glowed gold in the sunlight, engines humming like predators circling prey. They expected humans to beg for mercy. Yet Earth gave them nothing. No message, no surrender, just silence. The commander of the fleet grew uneasy. His sensors showed spikes of energy hidden under mountains. He saw strange movements of satellites and aircraft. It was not enough for proof, but enough to disturb him. He sent a warning to the Dominion High Council. Earth is different. They do not kneel. I sense danger here. The reply came back, cold and final. No species can resist forever. Press them harder. Break their silence. Back on Earth, leaders gathered again. The room was filled with tense faces, maps, and holograms of enemy fleets. Some leaders argued surrender. We cannot win, they said. The Dominion has thousands of fleets. They control half the galaxy. Resistance is suicide, but others spoke with steel in their voices. If we kneel, we lose everything. If we fight, we may lose our lives. Which loss is greater? The debate raged, but outside the chamber, the decision was already made. Humanity was preparing not to survive under chains, but to live free, or not at all. In the heart of the Pacific Ocean, an ancient station powered up. Its walls trembled as turbines older than any living engineer roared awake. Deep underground in Siberia, enormous silos opened, revealing weapons no one had ever seen. In orbit around the moon, hidden bases lit their signals. Humanity was uniting in silence. Still, the world carried on its daily life, as if nothing was wrong. Shops opened, families ate meals, children played. To the Dominion, Earth looked quiet, fragile, easy to break. But inside every human, the silence carried weight. A farmer planting seeds glanced at the sky, knowing war was near. A teacher paused mid-lesson, her hand shaking as she explained history to her students. Soldiers sharpened their blades and checked their rifles, each one whispering the same thought. We will not kneel. The Dominion fleet drew closer to Earth. Their scanners picked up strange signals but could not decode them. Their commander stared at the blue and green planet, wondering why this small species dared to remain silent. In a secret chamber, a single human scientist placed his hand on a glowing console. He whispered softly, almost to himself, "They do not understand us. They think silence means fear. But for us, silence is a promise." That promise was about to be broken. Earth would answer soon, and the galaxy would never be the same. The Dominion commander had grown tired of waiting. From orbit, his fleet of golden warships glimmered like suns in the dark. He gave the order to descend. Engines roared across the silence of space. Dozens of massive ships moved into formation, their shadows crawling over the Earth's oceans and lands. The ultimatum had been ignored long enough. "Strike them," he commanded. High above Earth's atmosphere, the first plasma beams lit the sky. Great towers of energy rained down, scorching the clouds. Entire cities trembled as shock waves rippled through the air. To the Dominion, this was the beginning of another easy conquest. But Earth was not silent anymore. From the oceans rose hidden submarines, launching streaks of light into the heavens. Missiles with burning tails climbed toward the warships, exploding against golden shields. Many were destroyed in flashes of fire, but some broke through. The Dominion's ships rocked as explosions scarred their armor. Then the ground itself answered. Mountains opened, revealing cannons buried deep within. Vast beams of energy shot upward, carving lines across the night sky. Satellites disguised as weather tools turned, revealing hidden weapons. Their blasts tore through the formation of the Dominion fleet. The commander's eyes widened. Earth had not been unprepared. They had been waiting. From the shadows of the moon, black warships emerged. Sleek and angular, they were not like the Dominion's golden giants. They were smaller, faster, hungrier. These were human ships, silent predators built for speed and surprise. They struck without warning. The first attack came as a swarm of drones burst from the belly of a human ship. They flew like angry hornets weaving between Dominion fire. Explosions blossomed across the alien hulls as the drones sacrificed themselves in brilliant bursts of light. The Dominion tried to regroup, but humanity's strikes were relentless. In command centers across Earth, soldiers cheered as alien ships staggered. For the first time in centuries, the Dominion fleet bled. Their golden armor cracked, their firepower dimmed. But the fight was far from won. The Dominion unleashed their true power. With a gesture, the commander activated weapons of unimaginable scale. Lances of plasma cut across the heavens, erasing whole city blocks in an instant. Shields of molten energy wrapped their ships, burning through missiles and drones like paper. One by one, human warships fell, their burning remains scattering into the atmosphere. In bunkers across Earth, silence returned. The joy of the first strike faded into grim reality. Humanity had hurt them, yes, but the Dominion was still stronger. Much stronger. Still, humans refused to kneel. Even as cities burned, more weapons activated. In deserts, hidden silos launched rockets that split into 100 warheads. In the Arctic, ancient stations fired beams of light that pierced even the Dominion's armor. And then came humanity's secret weapon. In low orbit, a single ship powered up. Unlike the others, it was not built for war, but for survival. It was a relic of Earth's earliest space programs, an old colony ship. But it had been refitted, rebuilt and armed with one of the most dangerous things humans had ever created, an electromagnetic pulse cannon. With a deep hum, the weapon fired. A wave of invisible energy surged outward, washing over the Dominion fleet. For a moment, their golden shields flickered. Lights dimmed. Systems faltered. The impossible had happened. Dominion ships lost power. Human ships dove into the chaos, striking the weakened giants with everything they had. Explosions tore across the dark sky, raining fire into the oceans below. The Dominion commander gritted his teeth. Never in his long rule had he faced such defiance. Never had a world refused to kneel, and drawn blood. On Earth, in a hidden command bunker, a human general watched the battle unfold on massive screens. His voice was steady, though his heart pounded. They will see us break. They will see us burn. But they will never see us kneel. Around him the room echoed with a single word whispered like prayer. Never. The battle raged for hours. The night sky lit up with fire, streaks of burning wreckage falling like meteors. Millions watched from the ground, their faces illuminated by flashes of war. Some wept, others clenched their fists, but none turned away. When dawn finally came, the skies above Earth were scarred. The Dominion fleet still stood, but it was damaged, limping, uncertain. For the first time in centuries, they had met a species that could fight back. The commander's voice, once calm and powerful, now carried a hint of unease as he sent a message back to the Dominion High Council. Humanity is not what we thought. They fight with madness. They fight with fire. They fight as if their lives are nothing, and their freedom is everything. And deep in the shadows of space, other alien species heard the echoes of the clash. Whispers spread like wildfire. If humans can defy the Dominion, maybe we can too. The first clash was over, but the war for freedom had just begun. The smoke of the first clash still drifted across Earth's skies when the galaxy began to whisper. News traveled faster than fire. Merchants on faraway trade routes spoke of golden Dominion warships burning. Refugees carried stories of humans who stood against the impossible. Pirates, smugglers, and exiles repeated the same phrase in hushed voices. They fought back. They did not kneel. For centuries, the Dominion had ruled with fear. Entire civilizations surrendered at the first sight of their fleets. No one questioned their claim to control all life. But now, one world had refused. That refusal shook the foundations of an empire older than memory. Across the stars, eyes turned to Earth. On the Dominion's conquered world, slaves whispered to each other in secret. If humans could resist, maybe chains could break. If humans could bleed the Dominion's fleets, maybe the Golden Giants were not invincible after all. The Dominion Council felt the shift. Their chambers, carved into colossal towers of light, once echoed with certainty. Now they echoed with fear disguised as anger. The council members argued, their voices sharp. Some demanded Earth's total destruction. Others warned that too much force would make humanity a symbol, and they were right. Humanity was already becoming more than a planet. Humanity was becoming an idea. Back on Earth, the cost of defiance was clear. Cities lay in ruins. Millions mourned. Yet instead of despair, a strange energy spread among the people. In crowded shelters, families sang old songs of survival. Soldiers marched through streets filled with cheering civilians. Even in loss, humans carried a fire that did not die. They had faced a power greater than any in history and still stood tall. Alien spies who watched from hidden places reported back in disbelief. They lose everything, one wrote, and yet they fight harder. They laugh in the face of death. They rebuild while their cities still burn. What kind of species are these humans? That question echoed through the galaxy. In the frozen mines of a distant moon, enslaved workers paused in their labor. One whispered, "If humans can bleed the Dominion, so can we." On a swamp world, rebels hiding in the marshes lifted their weapons higher. If humans will not kneel, neither will we. Even in the Dominion's own ranks, cracks began to form. Some soldiers asked themselves silently if their masters were truly gods or if they had just ruled so long that everyone had forgotten how to say no. The Dominion commander above Earth had seen it with his own eyes. He had watched human warships dive into hopeless battles, their crews ready to die for a chance to strike back. He had watched them rebuild defenses even as fire fell from the sky. He had watched them fight with something the Dominion no longer understood. It was not power. It was not numbers. It was will. The commander knew the truth now. The Dominion claimed to command all life, but humanity was proof they did not. Humanity was unbreakable in ways no empire could measure. Meanwhile, deep inside Earth's hidden bunkers, scientists unlocked new secrets. They studied the remains of captured Dominion technology, dissecting its weaknesses. To the Dominion, their weapons were perfection. To humans, they were puzzles waiting to be solved. Within weeks, human engineers created countermeasures that no other species had ever dared imagine. Where others saw fear, humans saw opportunity. A council of Earth's leaders gathered once more. This time, there was no talk of surrender. Instead, they spoke of something dangerous, something unthinkable, taking the fight beyond Earth. "Every battle we fight here costs us dearly," one general said. "If we wait, they will grind us down. We must carry the fire outward. We must show the galaxy that humanity does not only defend, it strikes." The room fell silent, heavy with the weight of the idea. Humanity, the youngest voice in the galaxy, was preparing to step into a role no one expected. Not a victim, not a survivor, but a spark for rebellion. The Dominion Council sensed the same storm brewing. They tightened their grip, sending fleets to other worlds, punishing even whispers of defiance. But it was already too late. Every act of cruelty only reminded the galaxy of Earth. Every act of resistance carried the same word: human. And so the truth spread. Humanity was not the strongest species. They were not the oldest, or the richest, or the most advanced. But they were the one species that refused to bow no matter the cost. That truth terrified the Dominion. It inspired everyone else. The Dominion's warships still hung over Earth, golden and terrible, but they no longer seemed untouchable. Their hulls bore scars. Their shields flickered where human weapons had struck. Their commander had seen a truth his masters would not admit. Humanity would rather burn than bow. In the streets of ruined cities, survivors raised broken flags. Soldiers marched through smoke, their boots steady. Children drew stars and ships on shattered walls. Humanity had been tested by fire and chosen defiance. But Earth knew the war could not be won by defense alone. The Dominion was too vast, too endless. To survive, humanity had to send a message not only to the invaders but to the galaxy. The decision came in whispers at first, then in meetings lit by dim lamps, finally, in the clear voice of a human general, broadcast across every hidden command post. "We will not wait for their chains. We will carry the fight to them. Let the galaxy see that we are not prey, we are the spark." And so, preparations began for something greater than defense. From the shipyards hidden under the seas, vessels rose, sleek, black, sharp as knives. From caverns carved into mountains, drones swarmed like flocks of metal birds. Engineers fitted old weapons with new tricks, blending human invention with stolen Dominion technology. What the Dominion called perfection, humans called raw material. Then came the fleet. It was small compared to the Dominion's endless armadas, but it was alive with something the Dominion could never manufacture: resolve. Each pilot climbed into their ship not for glory but for freedom. Each soldier loaded their rifle knowing they might never return. And still they went, smiling through the fear. The launch shook the Earth. Engines roared, waves crashed, mountains trembled. Humanity rose from their homeworld and reached for the stars, not as explorers this time, but as warriors. The Dominion commander watched from orbit. For a moment he did not speak. He simply stared at the swarm of human ships breaking free from gravity. They were smaller, weaker, fewer in number, but they moved with a fire his own forces lacked. He gave the order: destroy them. Golden warships lit the void with plasma beams. The sky became fire again. Human ships darted between the blasts, weaving like shadows, answering with missiles, drones, and cannons. Some were destroyed instantly, torn apart in silence. Others broke through, clawing at the Dominion's shields. And then the moment came. A human flagship, scarred and burning, pushed straight into the center of the Dominion formation. Its captain sent one final message, broadcast across every channel, heard by friend and foe alike: life does not belong to you. Not while we are here. The ship exploded in a wave of light, a chain reaction of energy that tore through Dominion shields. Several golden warships cracked, flames bursting across their hulls. The galaxy saw it. On distant worlds, rebels who had hidden in caves and swamps watched the recordings. For the first time, they saw the Dominion bleed in real time. They saw humans laughing as they fought, even as death closed in. And in that laughter, they found courage. Rebellion sparked like fire across dry fields. On mining worlds, slaves rose against their masters. On frontier planets, militias struck Dominion patrols. Every whisper of defiance carried one word: human. The Dominion Council was enraged. They had ruled through fear, and now that fear was broken, but the humans were not finished. In the shadow of Jupiter, another weapon awoke. It was not built to kill directly, but to reveal the truth. A signal was broadcast, carried across the galaxy, impossible to block. It showed the Dominion's fleets burning in Earth's skies. It showed humans rising from rubble. It showed a single species standing against a godlike empire. The message ended with words that echoed in every language. No one commands all life. Not while humanity stands. The Dominion could not erase it. The signal spread faster than their ships could travel, carried from world to world. By the time the Council reacted, the galaxy had already changed. On Earth, soldiers stood on broken soil, watching the sky. Above them, Dominion fleets retreated, not destroyed, not defeated, but shaken. They had come to crush a fragile world. Instead, they had awakened a rival they did not understand. The commander of the Dominion fleet gave one last glance at the blue planet before turning away. In his heart, buried under layers of loyalty and fear, a single thought stirred. Perhaps no empire can command all life. Perhaps life itself is too wild, too stubborn, too human. And so the war did not end that day, but something greater began. The galaxy had seen the truth of humanity. They were not the strongest, not the most advanced, not the most numerous, but they were the species that defied, and in that defiance the galaxy found hope.